Welcome everyone. I'm Nile from ListenUp, and I'm here with Ari Margolis from Aurender, the industry leaders in high-performance digital source components. Today we're going to explore, set up, and discuss the Aurender N200 digital transport, and then chat with Ari for a little bit about Aurender as a company, what they might offer the audio enthusiast looking for a high-performance digital source component. I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, at Aurender we're all about providing the most luxurious experience possible of consuming digital music at home. So it's all about how do you feel when you walk into your living room and you see your system and you turn your components on. What kind of experience does that deliver?
Ari, I'm hoping you will take a moment to walk us through the N200, maybe go front to back, share what makes the front panel special, and as you work your way across, if you could just loosely cover N200.
Yes, yeah, N200 is our best-selling unit overall. Okay. Everything from Aurender is designed and built and manufactured in Korea. The build quality on these units is, bar none, the best I've seen in the industry. Yeah. I've worked with a lot of different digital source components, and the fit and finish that we have here is really something special. You pick it up and you feel the weight and the heft. This thing is just built like a tank. We get a lot of great feedback about the color screen, which is simple, understated, mature, elegant, and that kind of goes into the overall user experience of Aurender as a whole. With this particular model, which is the first step up in our line of digital output network transports, this is designed to be used in conjunction with a high-quality standalone DAC. So we've got two digital outputs here, a USB audio output, which is dedicated for audio transport. It's filtered, isolated, a separate module that's wired separately from the noisy CPU board inside here. Coax output provides a great alternative to USB, and with many DACs it actually can sound better than USB for various reasons. On all Aurenders across the line, we have a user installable storage option. So if you're a collector, if you've spent years ripping CDs, downloading music from HD tracks or Kobas or whatever, you can actually load your music library onto this hard drive here and have a self-contained digital music jukebox.
That's super cool.
We've got a filtered LAN port. You hear a lot of talk nowadays about noise that comes in from the Ethernet cable.
Yeah,
that's
just noise in general.
Noise in general, but specifically these Ethernet cables are microphonic. They pick up noise along the length of the cable run and they transfer noise from the router to whatever it's plugged into.
And that makes it into your music.
That absolutely makes it into that data stream, into those ones and zeros that comes along with a lot of noise if you don't take measures to mitigate that noise from the outset here. So with Aurender, our goal is to fight these two villains of high-end audio, which are noise and jitter in the digital field. Those are what we're contending with. So starting with this N200, you get the same filtered and isolated USB audio output that you find in our top-of-the-line N30SA server. There are other things that go into the design of the step-up units as you move up the line, which enhance the performance significantly. But starting with the N200 and the N150 below it, you're getting that Aurender experience of listening to music. You're getting that noise-free, jitter-free audio experience.
That's awesome. And I don't think it will translate to camera well, but the level of fit and finish here really is otherworldly compared to most hi-fi components.
I'm glad you think so.
I do, and you can see it in all your panel gaps, and the way everything comes together, it's clearly made with no compromise.
There are a number of ways to get digital streaming music into your system. ListenUp has a ton of solutions, from very affordable options all the way up to the stratosphere. If you've got a system like this with beautiful Sonos Faber speakers, or Macintosh Moon rack over here, Aurender is the type of solution that really belongs in a system like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now that we've covered the hardware front to back, I'm hoping you'll take a moment and share the other half of this picture, which is user experience and why Aurender is so special there and why our clients would enjoy.
Absolutely. And I would agree that that user experience really is half of the equation. Audio performance is hugely important, and it will always be your Aurender's #1 priority. But without a user experience that's enjoyable, easy, smooth, and streamlined, you're not going to get a great overall experience from the product. We don't have that problem with a component like a power amplifier or a preamp or even a set of loudspeakers. Sure, you want them to look nice, but you don't have to interface with them in the way that you do with an app. So Aurender is in the unique position of being both a hardware and a software company at the same time. Our software team and our software engineers work out of the same building where the hardware is being designed. So they have this unique opportunity to tweak and tailor the playback engine and the software to take the maximum advantage of the extremely robust hardware that they have at their disposal here.
The application for all Aurender components is called Conductor.
Yes, sir.
This is now on all iOS devices?
All iOS and Android tablets and phones.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
The Conductor app, the Conductor app is your kind of set it and forget it, easy, streamlined approach to making music playback happen. It is not a touch my screen, dive through my menus, read the biographies type of app, although it does have all those nice biographies and metadata in it. But you find what you're looking for, you queue it up, you put the iPad aside, and you focus on the important thing, which is the music.
And I will say that's pretty distinct to Aurender, and specifically Conductor. High focus on the application. You're not presented with frills, you're not presented with ads or distractions. You can just think of it as what music you want to listen to, a little search bar, your cue in front of you. It's as simple as it gets, but almost as elegant and as beautiful as it gets at the same time.
With a system like this and this, it's an event to listen to music.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the type of experience that Aurender really makes an effort to cultivate for people.
I love that word, and I think we should just capture it again in its intention. And Aurender is one of the most intentioned brands that we are proud to offer. And that intention is the critical listening experience and the dedicated listening experience where you're engaging with your music and you're going deeper. Real quick before we keep going down that route, I did want to mention outside of Conductor, you do have a play pause control, seek controls, and a button that controls your display, whether that's...
The menu button can toggle through if you've got various playlists saved. You don't even have to pick up the app. You hit that menu button, you queue up your playlist, and away you go.
Awesome. Is that a single playlist, or do you know, or a single preset, or do you know how many you can?
You can have endless playlists on there, and you can cycle through them on this front interface as well. Yeah.
Okay, so now that you've covered some of the inside hardware that makes us so special, the user experience that defines Aurender, I'm hoping you can take a little bit of time to walk us through the rest of your lineup, both the digital section, the analog side, maybe talk about price points and common technology found throughout.
Sure, there's a lot. We have a whole suite of digital source components in mind for different types of music lovers and different types of systems. We know that there is a large swath of music lovers out there who are interested in building a system with separate components, a separate preamp, a separate power amp, separate standalone DAC. These digital output transports are designed to be used in conjunction with a separate high-end DAC. So in that digital output series, we've got units ranging from the entry level of $3,500.
With the N150?
The N150, which has the same filtered and isolated USB audio port that you find on the top of the line N30SA. And as you step up that line, you realize lower noise floors, lower background levels, greater timbral, color saturation, and detail in the overall presentation of the music. And by the time you get up to the N30SA, you're really at that ultimate manifestation of what we can do to separate signal from noise and mitigate jitter. Not every system, not every music lover is going to have the inclination to use a piece like Aurender in their system, but again, for a system like this, you really reap a tremendous amount of benefits from starting with a super clean source. Garbage in, garbage out.
100%.
We were going to talk about the other
The analog
stuff
side
that
of
we
things.
have in the
Yeah.
Aurender product line. We've got a whole suite of analog output network players as well.
Okay.
These are units that have a DAC built into them,
Okay.
digital to analog converter built into them. So in case you're not that tweaky audiophile type who wants to have separate components, each doing their own job, this is a really good place to integrate two parts of that signal path into one component like this.
Absolutely.
So the DACs that are built into these units are really ultimately just smooth, rich, silky, without sacrificing detail.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can listen to them all day long without getting that kind of harsh digital
fatigue,
listener fatigue.
I've had the experience with two Aurender units, the A10 and the A15. A10 is now a last generation or discontinued product, and the A15 is the successor and the upgrade of the A10. It's about as lush as it can get without becoming warm, so it's still in the realm of neutral, but zero fatigue, no lack of detail.
Yeah. One other thing that I think is important to point out with the A series and the DACs that are built into those machines, if you're a Tidal subscriber,
Okay.
Tidal delivers their high resolution audio content in a format called MQA.
Yep.
MQA requires a very specific signal chain and path to decode that MQA file in an optimal way.
Okay.
There are good and less good ways to decode MQA files. In the absence of an MQA full decoder DAC, like what we have in the Aurender A series, you're not getting even close to the highest level of resolution that is contained within those MQA files.
Because half of that's being performed on the software side in Tidal, right? So you're not even getting the...
Exactly right. So look, there are better DACs out there than the ones that are built into the Aurender A series, but you have to spend more, you need more cables and spaghetti to hook them up, more rack space, and when it comes to MQA performance, I've rarely heard anything that outperforms the A series of Aurender.
And you're really onto something with the spending more portion, but your analog series creates almost this vacuum in the market where if you want more performance, you're spending 15, 20, 25, maybe even a six-figure sum on a standalone DAC to exceed what an A15 or what's the high end now, the
A20 and A30 or
A30. So the A30 would be the most extreme. And what's the price point?
That guy's $19,000. The A30 at the top of the pile not only has Aurender's best internal DAC, it also has a CD ripping drive, 10 terabytes of internal storage. So again, we're talking about music lovers here with a deep collection of music.
Yep.
And the ability to create content from ripped CDs and store it internally. Speaking of CD ripping, the third important category in Aurender's overall range is the ACS series.
Okay.
ACS stands for Aurender Content Server. These are content creators. These are CD ripping drives, which also have the high-end USB audio outputs that we find on the digital output transport series. So it's a really good performance-packed version of the network transports that we have. You go to a show, you buy a CD at the merch booth, you pop that thing in, and it pulls down all the cover art and metadata and all that, and that becomes a permanent fixture in your digital music library there. So that ACS line of products not only is a solution for creating and cultivating your music library, it can serve as your central storage hub, and you can have other players throughout the house that stream from that ACS machine, and you have one unified, synchronized music library.
So you could start with an ACS or add an ACS to an existing system.
Yes.
And deepen the
within the ACS
the
series,
Aurender experience.
Exactly. Within the ACS series, one is conceived as an add-on to an additional system, and one, the ACS 10, is more of your standalone transport and library hub.
Cool. Well, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Who is Aurender for? Both in our world of audiophile and audio enthusiasts, but also which ListenUp clients are going to benefit the most from Aurender?
Sure. Again, Aurender is really conceived as a solution for the hardcore music lover who wants to have that experience of building and curating a music library. So if you've got a hard drive full of CD rips, or you know, high-res downloads from HD tracks or wherever the source may be. This is your solution for compiling that and aggregating that locally stored content with streaming stuff from Qobuz or Tidal or Spotify or whatever streaming service you use. So it's a complete solution for building that music library experience. That's the number one thing for me, and that's true across the line. Of course, Aurender is also for the most devoted audiophiles out there who are really trying to climb to the top of that digital mountaintop, as I say, looking for the best audio performance available. That's what Aurender is all about.
Yeah. I don't want to be exclusionary because audio and music should be for everyone. I do think this is the pinnacle of performance. This is the upper echelon. So the analogies I would make is if you're a car person, Aurender is Koenigsegg. So we are beyond the territory of Mercedes, BMW, all of that. This is a brand that only makes the best of the best and the utmost of performance. If you're watches, think Patek Philippe. Precision, performance.
He's a luxury guy. This guy knows nice things.
Some of this is a luxury product. That doesn't mean you shouldn't want it. That doesn't mean if it seems a bit spendy, you shouldn't go for it. It will deliver that, but it's not gonna be, this is not a throwaway product. This is not meant to compete as a value proposition. This is sheer performance, and
yeah,
you get what you pay for. As usual, thank you for joining us. You can find more about Aurender, including their entire lineup, at ListenUp.com. If you have questions, comments, other things you'd like to see, please let us know. And I hope to have Ari back very soon for another video just about technical things and what the inside of a network player looks like and why that's important. So let us know if you'd like to see that, and thank you.